on ESPN. Well, there is a storm brewing in Pro Stock Motorcycle pits. For more on that, here's Gary Gerald.
Matt Smith, there seems to be a controversy brewing here that involves air scoops, air intake into the power plant for Pro Stock Motorcycle. Do the Harley-Davidson gang and the Screaming Eagles have an advantage in your mind?
Yes, they have an advantage. NHRA has gave them scoops and whatever else that they gave them. We don't know what those other things are, but we know they got scoops. That's what we can see, and they've got to go out farther forward, and there's an advantage to that. And the biggest thing is ours are too big, and we would like to have the same scoops they have.
So what do you do about this?
There's nothing we can do. We've talked to Glenn Gray for 6 years. We've tried to get smaller scoops, and they won't allow it. But they can come out and change scoops after one race or two races or as many times they want until they get their stuff right, but we can't do anything.
What is the advantage to a smaller scoop? In my mind, logically, it would seem like the more air you pump in there, the better it would be.
Well, the biggest problem is our scoops are too big. They were designed back in 2002, and they were just built wrong at the beginning of that. The big problem is we've had two scoops on our bike, and if you combine both those scoops, they're bigger than a Pro Stock car hood scoop, and they're 500 cubic inch motor, and we run 160. So logically, that tells you right there we get too much air in there. It acts as a parachute, and it slows us down.
So it creates resistance rather than being beneficial. Is that correct?
Yeah, it creates resistance. I mean, the motor can't suck in that much air, and there's too much air going in.
And ultimately, the scoop has created controversy. Matt Smith will race Sean Gann according to the Lucas Oil Ladder and Pro Stock Motorcycle. Matt's wife, Angie, gets the #1 qualifier, Eddie Krawick. Gary Gerald, do you have more?
Well, Dave, we talked to both Eddie Krawick and Andrew Hines, and they deferred us to Matt Hines, who's been involved heavily, of course, over the years in the research and development for the Screaming Eagles. We asked him to talk about the innovation, but he said, and we quote, he didn't want to help educate his competitors, and he declined an opportunity to speak to the change in design.
And we also tried to get a comment from Graham Light, the Senior Vice President of Racing Operations, and he declined to give us anything. So, sometimes when you say nothing, it says a lot.
Like sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our Pro Stock Motorcycle lives.